Rangers. Let's get it started. Back in South Florida after a long road trip, the Marlins are home and the Texas Rangers come calling. Interleague play, the National League actually leads the American League at this point, 45-43 in Interleague. The Rangers first place in the American League West. The Marlins playing much better, having taken 2 of 3 from the Rays. Hi everybody, Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. This is the part of the telecast where I hit you with our best shot, the headline of the night. And I have no idea what it is, Tommy. There are so many storylines here. Is it Josh Johnson's great role? Is it the first place Texas Rangers? Is it Vlad the Impaler? Vlad Guerrero is here. Is it the fact that the Marlins are playing better? Is it Email Tuesday? Is it Michael Young? Help me, Tommy Hutton.
It's Michael Stanton's home debut, and it's all of the above. So let's go with A, B, C, D, and E. Choose everything. You should all be here. We're happy you're watching, but you should all be here.
Let's take a look at the Texas Rangers. If you just follow the National League, still some of these names you're going to recognize. Who are the Rangers, Tommy?
Well, look at the batting average as a team, second in the American League. They have guys like Michael Young with an 8-game hitting streak. Not only are they good players, they have some good players that are hot right now. Josh Hamilton has a 10-game streak. He's hit over 400 during that time. Vladimir Guerrero, one of the game's best hitters, an 11-game streak. Only Miguel Cabrera, more RBIs. A pretty solid starting rotation. Neftali Feliz is their closer, guy you haven't heard of, but he has really good stuff.
Now, Marlin fans know that Josh Johnson is a terrific pitcher. In fact, the winningest pitcher in baseball since 2008. But I think it has taken the 2 duels with Roy Halladay to put him onto the national spotlight. And nationally now, people are recognizing him as one of the elite pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, and I think that carries over, given the fact that the Marlins are playing the Texas Rangers here tonight. They've heard now about Josh Johnson. Look at this, last 6 starts, he's given up 2 earned runs to have that ERA 0.43. Look at the strikeouts to walks ratio. I mean, he's pitched against good ball clubs, the Phillies twice, the Mets, Arizona, Milwaukee with a great offensive lineup. So he's not been going up against light-hitting teams. He will not be going up against a light-hitting team tonight. The Texas Rangers. He'll face C.J. Wilson, a left-hander who last year was in their bullpen as a closer, and he's off to a good start in the rotation.
He's a lefty with a changeup, and sometimes that's like kryptonite to the Marlins. It's the Rangers and the Marlins. It's JJ and CJ, and Mike Stanton arrives when we get back. Craig and Niner will talk Stanton's South Florida debut. Hanley's Little Place, Big Taste. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. By Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Sun Life Stadium, Rangers Marlins, first of 3. Let's meet the Rangers. Texas comes in hot, having won 5 of 6. First place in the American League West. Young Elvis Andrus leads it off at shortstop. Michael Young at third base. Ian Kinsler at second. Vladimir Guerrero second in the major leagues in RBIs. Josh Hamilton, Justin Smoke at first. Max Ramirez the catcher. Julio Bourbon is hot right now. C.J. Wilson hits ninth.
It's a lineup that if you're Josh Johnson, you just go after it with your stuff, with your best stuff. And not a lot of scouting reports. Obviously, you go through some of them. But you go out there because you haven't faced a lot of these hitters and just go with your best stuff. And his best stuff generally is pretty good.
Elvis Andrus, the 21-year-old Venezuelan, came up last year. This is year 2 for him. And he swings and lines it foul. He had a pretty good year last year. He hit .267. His on-base percentage at .329. Stole 39 bases. He was second in the Rookie of the Year voting to Andrew Bailey of Oakland. Last year, he was the youngest position player in the major leagues. And that was what shifted Michael Young over to third base. 1-2.
Yeah, and Andrus held his own last year, too, as a 20-year-old shortstop, 145 games, hit .267.
2-2 coming from JJ. On the ground, Ugla approaches. Josh Johnson has an out. So I guess that's what, 18 in a row he's retired going back to that Phillies camp.
Well, let's check out the defense tonight. Rich Coughlin, Cody Ross, Mike Stanton getting his first home start in right field. Cantu and Hanley on the left side, Dan Ugla, Gabby over on the right side, and Ronnie Paulino behind the plate.
And here is Michael Young. 97 miles an hour on the fastball. A look at Young, 1,746 hits as a Ranger. One shy of the franchise record held by Marlin for a year, Ivan Rodriguez.
And Pudge still going strong with the Washington Nationals.
And that includes Texas and Washington history. Because before there was a Washington Nationals, there were the second incarnation of the Washington Senators. They moved to Texas, and there is Young right behind Ivan Rodriguez. Look at the offensive names there on that list. And JJ at 97.
I'll tell you what, JJ is loose. He's touched 97 3 times already here in the first inning. It's just some flat-out Oklahoma gas. There's some pretty good names on that list. Palmeiro and Juan Gonzalez.
Ruben Sierra. Of course, the ballpark in Arlington is such a great place to hit. Ian Kinsler will tell you that. He had the terrific year in 2008, which he was an all-star. He takes a 97-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. Kinsler, the native of Tucson, Arizona.
I think the concern with Kinsler in that all-star year, he had 18 home runs and just 1 home run so far this year.
Fastball misses up. Speaking of Washington, Ron Washington is the skipper of the Rangers in his 4th season. JJ buries that breaking ball. Ron Washington, a longtime coach in Oakland. Very well liked when he was in Oakland. He's done a nice job in Texas. A liner over Ugla's head into right center. Stanton over to cut it off, backhands it, and holds Kinsler to a single. Significant right there, Tommy, because for an hour today, Dave Collins worked with Mike Stanton in right field, and that's one of the things Collins told us that Stanton noticed right away is how quick the grass was and how he had to adjust his angles because of it.
Well, we talk about that a lot, and he's learning that. And there's Dave Collins, who did spend lots of time today, prior to batting practice, working on different fundamentals in the outfield.
This guy has spent lots of time in the big leagues hitting. Pitches of all varieties. High ones, low ones, outside ones, inside ones.
Sometimes they used to say the best way to pitch Vladimir Guerrero is throw it right down the middle of the plate.
You throw it, he can hit it. And he's having a revival of a season this year with his 54 runs driven in. Kinsler will steal a base on you. In fact, the Rangers like to run. They've stolen 52. That is fourth in the American League. Tampa Bay leads the American League at 72. Look at the career numbers of Vladimir Guerrero.
I think some with the Angels, because of injuries, only 100 games last year with the Angels. And some thought, well, that's about it for his career. And he has had a terrific bounce back here the first part of this year.
He's on an 11-game hitting streak right now. The Rangers, there's a few hitting streaks in their lineup. Young, 8 in a row. Vladdy's at 11 in a row. Down near the bottom, Julio Bourbon is at 11 in a row. You can see the decline in production last year. But for the longest time, one of the most feared hitters in the game. Fouls that pitch back. He had 11 seasons where he hit 25 homers and had a 300 or better average. Only one other player in baseball history had ever done that. A guy by the name of Lou Gehrig.
Pretty good company.
Old school guy. No batting gloves. Kinsler bluffs, and Vladdy fouls it off the screen.
And over his long career, with all the power numbers, all the production and RBIs, he's never had a season where he struck out 100 times. So you see so many power hitters nowadays who strike out 150 times. But Vladimir Guerrero puts the ball in play.
An 8-time All-Star. Former American League Most Valuable Player in 2004 with the Angels.
He's getting to that point where people say, okay, is Vladimir Guerrero a Hall of Famer?
He may run into some of the same things that Andre Dawson ran into in the fact that he played some of his best years in Montreal. Kinsler's running, Vladdy is hitting, and he pokes it into right center. That is the that's not your atypical approach at the plate, but that's Vladimir Guerrero. His butt going one way, his shoulder going the other, and he reaches out and dumps it into right field.
Yeah, and with Kinsler on the move, Dan on the second, moving over to cover the bag, so an opening on the right side. Watch this technique. You don't teach this to youngsters. There goes the butt, Rich, and there goes the swing. And he just bloops it into shallow right field. So you don't know where to pitch this guy. You try to run it in, jam him, but then he'll turn on a ball. You just hope he gets singles.
Another hot hitter here, Josh Hamilton. JJ buzzes him back.
So Kinsler now with a 5-game hitting streak, and Guerrero with a 12-game hitting streak with his base hit.
And Hamilton having a big year. Co-player of the week in the American League. He has a 10-game streak. JJ buries a breaking ball, and it's 2-0. This looked like a 1-2-3 inning in the making, but all of a sudden Josh Johnson had 21 pitches.
It's just an indication of what he's going to deal with tonight at this Texas Rangers lineup.
Hamilton swings and misses. He had a little bit of a swing makeover recently.
Yeah, there's been a lot written recently, and I had a great talk with him today before the game about the toe tap. He's kind of eliminated that. That front foot, the right foot, just lifts and takes his approach. He was doing a little tap, and he told me that early in his career with Tampa in the minor leagues, and Certainly everyone knows the story. It was disrupted many years. But early in the minor leagues, they had him look at Barry Bonds' video. And he kind of started it then.
2-2. Runners at the corners. JJ's last time out, he beat the Phillies and Roy Halladay 2-0, went 8 innings. Kinsler and Vladdy. Good fastball got in on him.
The one thing about Vladimir Guerrero, the Marlins won't see him probably in all 3 games. He's their DH for the most part. But in a National League series, they're going to get him in there a couple of games, and then he'll probably sit the middle game of the series.
Liner into center field. The Rangers are on the board first. Josh Hamilton. He's in 11 games in a row.
Yeah, these guys come swinging the bats, and they certainly are tonight. This was the changeup. It's a pitch that's been real good for JJ. Left-handers coming into the game hitting 168 against him, but that one stayed up a little bit.
So including Philadelphia, Josh Johnson had retired 19 in a row, and now he gives up 3 consecutive singles. And here is the switch hitter, Justin Smoke, University of South Carolina star. Smoke just 23, out of Stratford, South Carolina. First round pick, 11th overall. That the voice of Dan Iasonia, working home plate with Dale Scott, Jerry Meals, and Mark Wegner. Iasonia working behind Ronnie Paulino. That breaking ball catches the corner. It's 1-2.
Yeah, the one thing that Josh didn't want to have happen is have that first inning be a high pitch count. And he's closing in on 30.
Not a lot of speed at second with Vladdy. Hamilton's at first. 1-2. This is it's a great case study in how, if a guy's making great pitches, and Josh Johnson has made tremendous pitches, the pitches that tied up Hamilton, Smoke, Guerrero. But if you can work the count, if you can fight those pitches off, you can get that pitch count up. 30th pitch, no swing.
One guy who I'm sure has helped a lot of their hitters against Josh Johnson is their hitting instructor. I just missed. Clint Hurdle, former manager of the Rockies, is Ron Washington's hitting instructor. So he has seen JJ before.
You've got a couple things in that. Obviously, the Rangers and the Marlins are pretty much mysteries to each other. But Hurdle, of course, managed for a long time in Colorado. And Matt Trainer, who knows...
Who caught JJ.
Caught JJ. He knows a lot of the Marlin hitters. I'm sure that they were both involved in the scouting reports for both the pitchers and the hitters. 2-2. Count full now at 3-2, and that's going to give a head start to Guerrero and Hamilton.
Yeah, that'll help Vladimir Guerrero with those 35-year-old knees.
Fastball and a chopper. Hanley to his left has it. Bobbles, gets him. JJ gives up 3 hits and a run. The Rangers are in town and they can swing it. They lead it 1-0.
WhatsApp y es presentado por KFC.
In South Florida tonight, very hot day and a warm evening for sure. The Fish come in at 31 and 32. Marlins in this order: Chris Coghlan, Gabby Sanchez, Hanley Ramirez, Jorge Cantu, a 12-game hitting streak, and 46 runs driven in. Dan Uggla at second, Cody Ross in center, Mike Stanton, his home debut, Ronnie Paulino behind the plate. JJ hits ninth.
We've told you a little bit about the 29-year-old left-hander C.J. Wilson. He has faced the Marlins before, but just a couple of times and in a relief appearance, very short outings. That was a way back in 2005. But off to a pretty good start, making his 13th start of the year. And as Rich mentioned, he'll move the fastball, he cuts it, he has a good changeup and a curveball to go along with it.
Chris Coghlan faces Wilson, and there's a strike. Coghlan, of course, a terrific road trip, has pumped his average up to 278. On Sunday, he had his 12-game hit streak snapped, going 0 for 3. A chopper out towards second. Kinsler on to first in time, and Coghlan is out number 1.
Check out the defense for Ron Washington's Rangers. There's Josh Hamilton, Julio Bourbon, and Vladimir Guerrero. Michael Young, Elvis Andrus on the left side, Ian Kinsler, Justin Smoke, and Max Ramirez behind the plate. The defense, it's kind of middle of the pack. They've made 42 errors as a team.
Here now is Gabby. He had a terrific road trip. Hit 2 home runs in a ball game over in Tampa Bay. $11 for 33 on the trip. Drove in 7. And he drives that ball to left. Hooking down the line. It is foul.
Not by much. Got it a little bit on the end of the bat. Didn't have home run distance, but it would not have been caught by Josh Hamilton.
So it's 1 ball and 1 strike. C.J. Wilson, a first baseman, outfielder, and starting pitcher at Loyola Marymount.
Yeah, pretty good athlete.
Rangers took him in the 5th round. Had Tommy John surgery back in 2003. And a guy that has made that difficult transition, as Tommy pointed out, from short reliever to starter. Had a little help, though, in the front office.
Well, it was of his doing. He wanted to start, and he actually went in and made the suggestion to Nolan Ryan in the front office. Said, I'd like to get an opportunity to get in the rotation. And it's interesting because here's a guy who 2 years ago, C.J. Wilson, had 24 saves. That's the most ever by a left-hander in the Rangers organization.
Well, not only do they have Nolan Ryan, but they have one of the best pitching coaches in the business, and that's Mike Maddox. 15-year Major League career. The older brother of Greg. He did a fine job in Milwaukee.
You know, Mike had a pretty good career as a pitcher, too. He was, always a middle guy, a swing guy who would start once in a while, and a good man to have in your bullpen.
Now, here is Hanley. If you watch the Marlins on the road trip, you know that Hanley in Tampa really started to swing it and sting it. He was driving balls all over the Trop.
Triples, doubles.
And the Marlins certainly are hopeful that that continues, and that's just the beginning of things for Hanley.
Where Hanley, Rich, needs to pick it up is against left-handers. Hanley's hitting .203. It's hard to believe. I thought it was a misprint when I read it against left-handed pitching.
Hanley lines that ball foul.
I think it'll be interesting to watch when Guerrero is in the lineup in right field. Remember, he's been the DH most of the time. And this is not an easy right field to play. There's a lot of room out there. Keep our eye on that. See if has any effect on any of the games.
Backdoor breaking ball misses outside. It's 2-1. There are the splits that you were talking about. You're right. The track record of Hanley is that the lefty's average is going to come up and that the runners in scoring position average is going to come up. C.J. Wilson won his last 2 starts. He beat Seattle, 7 innings, 2 runs. He beat Tampa Bay, 5 innings, 3 runs. Hanley hits it in the air, right center. Guerrero coming on, and under shaky legs, he's there to make the catch.
That was that C.J. Wilson changeup that had Hanley Ramirez out in front a little bit. He took a glance saying, I got it, don't worry. So the hitters against this left-hander are going to have to do what they do against a lot of other lefties they've faced this year. Think up the middle, stay back, don't try to pull him.
Jorge Cantu has hit in 12 in a row. Look at his career numbers against the Rangers. There's Cantu doing that damage as a member of the Rays. Knee-high strike from Wilson. A 1-out walk. Gabby still at first. Cantu homering on Sunday.
Yeah, Jorge extended his hitting streak on Sunday.
Fastball up and in is a strike. So it's 1-2.
A little different than facing a Jamie Warrior. You can look, change up, and adjust to his fastball, but Wilson at 91, 92, you can't do that.
Sanchez is running. Ramirez throw skips away from Kinsler. Ramirez turning to Dan Iasonia. He thought that was a strike. Instead, it's ball 2, and that gives Gabby the stolen base.
Well, he got a great jump, picks up his second stolen base. And even though the count is 2 strikes to Jorge Cantu, gets himself in scoring position.
Couple stolen bases this year for Sanchez. Down low, and he's worked the count to 3-2.
If you watched Max Ramirez on that throw, you would expect the Marlins to try to steal a little bit more tonight.
Cantu has moved down the list on the RBI charts. Troy Gloss at 49, the leader. Cantu at 46. He pops it up. Back goes Smoke. Kinsler is over. And it's Kinsler who makes a basket catch over the shoulder. The Marlins are done in the first. Money with the Marlins all-you-can-eat seats. Get a full stomach as well, a club-level ticket, all the hot dogs, peanuts, nachos, and popcorn, and soda for one low price. The next all-you-can-eat night, Friday the 18th, the Marlins and the Rays, 305-626-SAVE. Max Ramirez swings through a fastball.
Boy, this is an inning, Rich, that J.J. needs to come back, try to have a quick inning, low-pitch inning. He threw 9 pitches to the first 2 batters, and then 24 pitches to the next 4. Got the bottom third of the order.
Ramirez, a young catcher in the Rangers organization, and if you were a betting man, you wouldn't bet that he would be the primary catcher at the start of spring training. They have 2 very big prospects as catchers. One, a local kid, Jared Saltalamacchia. Another, Taylor Teagarden. Teagarden's in Double-A, Saltalamacchia's in Triple-A. And they had to go out and get Matt Trainer. Trainer's been getting a lot of playing time, and Ramirez goes down swinging.
Good start there for J.J. and a great pitch to bury that fastball in under his hands. Target's in there. Look at Ronnie Paulino say, give me that fastball right there. And Ramirez couldn't get to it.
Our Fox Exmo. Yeah, you can see how late he was. It looks even later in Exmo. Left-handed hitter Julio Bourbon.
Another guy with a hitting streak. Everybody in that lineup, you look down that Rangers lineup.
11 in a row with Bourbon. We check in with Allison. Allison?
No, Bourbon. He really struggled in May, and in fact it got so bad that he was moved from first in the batting order to 9th, and manager Ron Washington even took to pitch hitting for him. But he said he learned a lot through that struggling, and one of the things he tried to do was he said he was being too passive. He needed to be more aggressive and swing at the first pitch more, because after that he wasn't getting anything to hit. And a big reason for this team's turnaround, Michael Young said, is guys like Bourbon, who have really stepped up in the bottom of that order. He has turned things around, though. He's raised his average 49 points since the end of May. He's up to 285 now, guys.
Thank you, Allison. He's a guy, Tommy, that I think the change from American League venue to National League venue will affect a guy like Bourbon more than anybody in the lineup other than the pitcher hitting. Because Bourbon all of a sudden is hitting 8th. Wilson goes after the first thing he sees in his first Major League at bat, and JJ has a nice and tidy 9-pitch inning. Rangers up 1-0. Here on Fox Sports Florida.
Rich, and it's Email Tuesday tonight, too, isn't it?
It is. Our email wrangler is just wrangling our first few emails of the night. 1-0 is the score. The Rangers have given young C.J. Wilson a lead. C.J. Wilson has been waiting his whole life for this, Tommy. His first major league at bat. I mean, here's a guy that was a hitter first in college, couldn't wait to hit, but was a reliever in the American League and never got a chance to hit. And so his first, he doubled off of Barry Zito in spring training. That's a highlight of his career so far offensively. His first AB goes after the first pitch.
Well, we know right off the bat he's not a sabermetrics guy. He jumped on that first pitch.
Here is Uggla with Cody Ross and Mike Stanton to follow. Uggla climbs in with his 14 homers. He's driven in 37. Check swing. Did not go. And the count's 1-0. You talked about Marlins against lefties and the struggles that Hanley had. Uggla went through one of those years in his career where he couldn't hit lefties. This year he's hitting .377 against them.
Yeah, he's kind of turned it around a little bit this year.
In fact, 6 of his 14 home runs are against lefties. Strike it, it's 2-1.
Interesting watching Dan Uggla. We were talking about Josh Hamilton, how he's eliminated that front toe tap. Dan Uggla keeps that front toe moving, that front foot moving, and then he taps it a little bit before he gets himself ready to swing.
Uggla pops it up. Smoke over. Welcome to Sun Life Stadium, the most dangerous dugouts in all of baseball.
Well, you get a team that most of these guys have not played here before. That's one. And number two, even if you've played here a lot, it's a tough area over there in front of the dugouts with no fence. You've got that rubberized track. And when you're in visiting territory, you get no help. So the Marlins aren't going to help Smoke at all. They might help him if he starts to fall into the dugout. But a tough play for a rookie, no less, especially in this ballpark for the first time.
2-2 coming to Uggla. The tough part about the dugouts as well, Tommy, you run out of airspace before you run out of footing as the roof comes out. And so you're trying to figure out when's the roof arriving and when are my feet going to leave me. 3-2 coming. Outside, Uggla walks. Leadoff walk to Uggla to open up the second. Cody Ross and Mike Stanton around the bend.
A good at bat by Dan Uggla, very patient to take ball 4.
First email of the night is from Stan and Stan in Asheville. Although they are virtual clones of each other, Cody Ross seems to have a little more discipline when he has 2 strikes. Do you think that it would be a good move to switch him with Uggla in the batting order? I'm not sure that I buy the more discipline with 2 strikes.
I think Dan Uggla's been more disciplined this year. I mean, I think we've seen improvement. We've talked about it in Cody Ross and his approach, which has been much more consistent this season. But I think they're fine right where they are.
Remember, last year, Cody walked 34 times and Uggla walked 92. Roller out towards short. And a double play. Andrus to Kinsler to Smoke. And up comes Mike Stanton.
Number 27, right fielder Mike Stanton.
Mike Stanton gets a nice ovation. His first home at bat. He did come to a game here last year. It's not the first time he's been in the ballpark. And as you see, 7 for 19. Driven in 4. He has stolen 2 bases.
Just monster numbers in Double-A.
1-0. And I think because of those monster numbers, if you want to email us, send your questions to foxsportsflorida.com. Actually, you have to go to foxsportsflorida.com and click on the Ask the Announcers link.
Mike talking about his approach during batting practice. You know, people want to see this big guy put on a show, but his approach, for the most part, most of his swings, he's trying to stay back, go the other way. He might have a round where he lets it loose. He did hit one in the upper deck, though, today, section 413.
Fastball in on the inside part. 2-2. Two coming. Struck him out with a fastball. Threw it by him. And the Marlins waste the leadoff walk. The Rangers are on top. Hot week already as the Marlins and the Rangers open up this 3-game series. The Rangers have to feel right at home. They're used to playing in this heat in Arlington, Texas. Top of the order against JJ, Elvis Andrus, Michael Young, and Ian Kinsler. JJ misses down low with a breaking ball.
Yeah, a little different type heat in Arlington, but there are many games in the summer that first pitch is thrown and the temperature's well above 100.
Yeah, managers in both Texas and here in South Florida have to be pretty judicious with the way you take batting practice, infield practice, especially when you get into July and August. Got an email from Alan in Hollywood. How come you guys are always saying the Marlins are second best or second worst at so-and-so? It arouses my curiosity as to who is first at such and such. There's a tapper towards Cantu. Better hurry. And it's not in time. The ball skips away. Andrus is going to be safe. I think Jorge was hoping that ball was going to eventually go foul, but he resigned himself to the fact that he had to make a play.
And he tried. He made the best effort possible with the bare hand. It came off the grass there. You see how he gets it and cups it in his hand. Couldn't quite get enough on the throw. Andrus runs pretty well, too. and gets himself an infield hit.
So this might be an early angry email, Tommy. What Alan doesn't like is when you say this guy is second in the National League in something and you don't give the first.
We said that Vladimir Guerrero was second in the major leagues in RBIs.
And Miguel Cabrera
is first.
Now, Alan says he'll accept our apology if you promise not to let a subject hang in midair. That one's fouled back to the screen. Well, here's the truth of that is a lot of times in the notes that you get, whether it's online or whether it's in the game notes, it happens to us a lot. They'll have that note, but they won't supply you with who's first, who's second, who's third. And so some of the times, Alan, it's that we don't have time to look it up. Most of the time, we give it our best shot. Here's one for you, Alan. Josh Johnson, since 2008, has the best winning percentage in all of baseball. And so Alan is at home going,
Rich, who's second?
All right, I got to wait for a pitch. Then I need some help from the truck. All right, a throw to first will work. Alan, this is for you. Who's he in front of? Well, guys like Lincecum, Wainwright, Lester, and Lee.
That tied you over, Alan? You okay now?
It drives us nuts, too, because I mean, we read it, and it's a note you want to use, and you got to search and hunt and peck and find out who is second or third. You see Andrus leaning, not running.
Andrus has 18 stolen bases this year. Now, he has been caught 9 times.
You heard the crowd react, but our Fox Tracks brought to you by Toyota shows that that one is outside. Now, that one was close as well. Young was a strikeout victim back in the first. And you can see Dan Iasonia has been right on those last 2.
And so many times we talk about that umpire setting up on the inside part of the plate. You can see Iasonia, most of his body is exposed, especially if Ronnie Paulino moves to the outside. Look at, you can see Iasonia. So the outside pitch is a little tougher for him to call.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. The throw by Paulino, safe. Number 19 on the season for Elvis Andrus.
Good hard fastball, throw just a little bit tailing inside. Dan Uggla wanted to make sure he got it. Good slide by Andrus to just kind of catch the outside part of that bag. Very close.
That one is fouled off. Fox Exmo gives you a terrific angle. Uggla never got him. Josh Johnson in a battle with a very good hitter in Michael Young.
And even with 2 strikes, you saw Michael Young trying to hit the ball the other way to get Andrus over to third.
Fouls it off. Michael Young, even though he's been an All-Star 6 times, was the All-Star Game MVP. Won a Gold Glove 2 years ago at shortstop. Still, I think, one of the more underappreciated players. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Rangers haven't been to the postseason since 1999.
Well, and the whole story, the way his career has chronicled different players. He was a second baseman when A-Rod was their shortstop. A-Rod left. Soriano came over. Alfonso Soriano didn't want to play short, wanted to play second. So guess what? Michael Young said, I'll play short. He moved over and played short, won a Gold Glove there 2 years ago.
And now with the young Andrus, he made the transition to third base last year. Did he go? Yes. Dale Scott says swing. Michael Young strikes out for the second time.
Good alert play by Ronnie Paulino to quickly get the ball and put the tag on Young. He tries to camouflage it a little bit. Ronnie doesn't wait to hear the call. He goes ahead and puts the tag on Young.
Kinsler singled and scored back in the first. Rangers had a 2-out rally in the first, 3 consecutive hits. Kinsler, Guerrero, and Hamilton. And he drops down a bunt, and it's a foul ball. We've had a lot of, and we expected to get some of these. And I know, Tommy, you were deeply involved in the planning of this and design of this. A lot of aquarium questions tonight.
Yeah, they tapped into my aquatic nature.
Yes. It was all Tommy's idea. We have some fans that are into it, some fans that are a little concerned for sea life. Oh, 1 from JJ. Still trying to bunt. That one's low. 1-1.
Then I guess we should eliminate bark at the park, too, because that's cruel to dogs.
See, maybe we can work out something. Bring your fish to the park night. Just throw them in the aquarium.
See, you're trying to put it on a tee for me, aren't you?
There's a liner that's just foul.
So far tonight, the changeups, and I think that was a changeup that Josh has thrown. He doesn't have that good command of that pitch, and that's been a good third pitch for him this year.
One, 2. That is strike 3 call. He's been picking at that corner. He didn't get the call with Young. He got it with Kinsler, and I'm sure that's what's crossing Kinsler's mind right now.
Well, we saw him miss a couple of times to Young. This one had a little movement, got a little help from Ronnie Paulino, and then got the call from the home plate umpire, Dan Iasonia.
Now Vladdy. Vlad the Impaler. And he's done a lot of that in his career.
It's a pretty good duo, back-to-back hitters, Guerrero and Hamilton.
Well, I mean, if you want to go any further, you can start with Young and Kinsler leading into Guerrero and Hamilton. Rangers have always scored runs. They play in a great hitter's park.
Last year, I'm just going to say, with 2 strikes, he could open up and get to a pitch in, but when you have the fastball that Josh has, I think you'd like to crowd him. He'll hit that pitch off the plate, away. And there goes Ronnie inside.
0-2. And the count 1-2.
It's been a great park for JJ to pitch in this year at home. Josh is 5-1 with a 1.50 ERA.
Sawed him off on a ground ball. Ugla gathers it in.
Good job.
Over the first. A little bit of a struggle with the leadoff single. JJ survives it. Rangers lead it. FPNFord.com for great offers. And by Florida Light and Power. Learn smart ways to conserve energy. Log on to FPNL.com. Take a free online home survey. Ronnie Paulino, Josh Johnson, and Chris Coghlan against C.J. Wilson in the third.
Marlins looking for their first hit off C.J. Wilson.
Ball one to Paulino. Ronnie, of course, munches on lefties, 377 average. Got a couple emails to this effect. This is from Shelley. The other day in Philadelphia, the umpire made a pitcher wearing two necklaces take one of them off. How come the Texas pitcher is wearing two? Isn't there a rule saying that you have to wear just one? Is it an American or National League thing? And there are the two necklaces.
Yeah, I don't think there's a flat-out written rule. I think it's more of a decision that an umpire, or if somebody complains, you know, it's more the bling than those type necklaces.
Yeah, the necklace that the pitcher had to take off was white, wide.
Yeah, that's not bling. That's ecologically correct, I think. See, the people who had those fish questions would like that. But no problem there.
2-2. It's down low. One emailer wanted to know if he was Hawaiian because of those two necklaces. He's from Southern California. Huntington Beach.
Yeah, probably he's been on a surfboard a time or two.
Yeah, I'm sure. Paulino, little looper out into right field. There's no way Vladdy's going to get to that one. And then Paulino to first. And this sets up nicely for JJ with Ronnie at first base.
Doesn't matter what kind of hit. It just matters that it's a left-hander out there on the mound for Ronnie.
Well, this lefty is dynamite against left-handed hitters. JJ stands in. C.J. Wilson's batting average against for lefties is 114. That is fifth in the major leagues. And for our buddy who wanted to know, Neftali Felice, the Rangers closer, has the best batting average against.
And what that translates to, it also means it's going to be tough for JJ to drop down a bunt. He's done a nice job this year with 4, but a little tougher against this left-hander. Lefty's now 8 for 71 against Wilson after the ground out of Chris Coghlan to start the game.
JJ takes high. The trick to Felice and his toughness against lefties is that he's right-handed. So that tells you what kind of stuff the Rangers closer has.
Yeah, good fastball, mid to upper 90s, changeup.
JJ fouls it back. As well as the emails that we have coming in from the email wrangler, we have some actual mail. Fans that do not have computers that wanted to participate on an email Tuesday. JJ can't get it down. And so that would be a strikeout as he fails the bunt. Family Sunday finishes off this homestand with the Rays. Father's Day at the ballpark. First 5,000 dads get a Marlins golf set courtesy of Preferred Care Partners. Play catch with Dad on the field after the game. 1-877 Marlins. This is from Jeff in Delray Beach. It seems like every time there is a replay of a Marlin hitter getting a hit, Tommy or sometimes Rich says he had a good swing. I challenge you to go through the entire telecast without using the phrase good swing.
How about on Ronnie's base hit? He didn't have a good swing. And blooped one into right, got a base hit.
So does that count as using the phrase good swing?
No, because he didn't.
Okay. The didn't is
It didn't comes into play.
Okay. All right, we'll work on that, Jeff. Coughlin. Out there. Out there. And Coughlin is doubled up, though he didn't approve of the call from Dale Scott. C.J. Wilson has been tough tonight. Just a bloop single, and that's it for the Fish so far.
We move along. JJ facing these tough Texas Rangers. Go to the top of the fourth. A pleasure to be with astronaut Terry Virts, who is at a view many of us would like to see, but only a handful have ever seen it. That's from way up there. He's the pilot of Endeavor. Good to see you. Baseball fan and fun to be out here. Huh?
Great to be here. Big Marlins fan, big South Florida fan.
Big Jeff Conine fan, too, because you're from Baltimore, and when Niner played there, you became friends. And I guess did a Marlin jersey make its way up in the air?
It did. I brought a Florida Marlins jersey with me around space and presented it to the David Sampson and Larry Beinfest tonight. So hopefully it'll find its way into the new Marlins Stadium.
That is neat. We have a picture of you up there in space. First of all, you're in space and you get that view. What is that view like?
You know, I wish I could put it into words, but I can't. The first time you see Earth, it just takes your breath away. And it seemed like every day on this flight, it was my first flight, sliding into first base.
Yeah, he's safe.
He's safe. So every day there was this new, unbelievable experience that you had never had before. Seeing during launch, a few minutes after launch here from Florida, I looked out the pilot window and I could see the whole East Coast of the United States. A few minutes after the engine shut down and we were in space, we were flying over the Alps, going 5 miles a second. And it just got better from there. Every day there was this new view that I had never seen before. Seeing the Middle East, seeing Israel as this really small part, flying over at nighttime, I'll never forget, with Cairo and the Nile River and the moon right on the horizon. There was lots of views that were just indescribable.
It must be unbelievable. You've flown on fighter jets, 40 different aircraft. What's the difference between that and the incredible takeoff of a shuttle, which unfortunately may only have a couple more trips left in it, but that takeoff period.
Right. You know, I did. I started my first operational Air Force assignment was here at Homestead Air Force Base flying F-16s. And the big difference is in a fighter jet, you're maneuvering a lot. There's a lot of G-force. You're getting pushed down. And in a space shuttle, there's no Gs. I mean, you're floating. So they're both very exciting and challenging. But the big thing is, one, you get a lot of Gs, and the other one, you get no Gs.
There was one shot of you shaving. Is it hard to shave in space?
Shaving wasn't too bad in space. The living in space, it takes a few days to get used to it, though, just because it's like being a baby and having to learn how to walk and everything again. But you have to learn it immediately because you're there. So it's kind of like having to learn how to do everything all over again in a hurry.
Well, what's so neat is that Marlin fans will know that Marlin jersey was up in space with you guys up there, and that's an incredible thing. And I know we're going to see the new ballpark too, Terry.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. We've been watching computer animation. What a great ballpark. And one more thing I'll say is if you haven't gone to see a space shuttle flight yet, go to see one, because there's only 2 left right now, maybe 3, and it's an experience unlike no other. It'll make you proud to be an American, and I really encourage you to drive a couple hours north and see that shuttle.
August?
The schedule's getting rearranged a little bit. From what I've seen in the news, it may be October and February, but one in a few months, and then one probably early next year. But whatever you can do, go see one. It's worth it.
Thanks a lot. Nice to meet you, Terry.
Craig.
All right, Terry Verse, astronaut who took the Marlins up to space, guys. How about that? Back to you.
All right, Craig, great stuff.
That is good.
Speaking of up, Josh Johnson's pitch count is up. He is a pitch shy of 70 here in the 4th, and he doesn't have an out. You saw Hamilton. That ball was ruled an error by Dan Uggla. And so Hamilton's at first. Justin Smoke is at the plate. Max Ramirez is on deck. Runner goes, and it's fouled out of play. Ask the Marlins at Fox.com. Ask the Marlins at Fox.com is our email address. We have one, and we have all kinds of questions. One from Dave in Walnut Creek. Should he have Chardonnay or Cabernet watching the game tonight?
Well, I'll give my input after this pitch.
How about now?
If it's I'm more of a Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc guy. But I would say if it's a warm night, go with the Chardonnay. But if you're having a nice steak, the Cabernet would be good.
Come on. You just order whatever's on special. Swing and a miss by Smoke. And Johnson gets a strikeout. Josh has had to earn all 5 of his strikeouts tonight. Here is Max Ramirez. We've had a lot of questions about Mike Stanton in the batting order. Let me pick one from the Mike Stanton file here. Lou wants to know, Tommy, how long will Stanton be hitting 7th in the lineup? Might you see him between Uggla and Cody?
Yeah, I think if he continues on, certainly the way he looked on the road trip and just continues to show the progress that he has, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him move up a little bit in the lineup. But there's no rush to do that. And as Freddie has said numerous times, he's still 20 years old. But there's no doubt that somewhere down the line he's going to be entrenched in that cleanup spot.
Remember Tommy's rant this weekend in St. Petersburg, and because of that we have an email. What will the Marlins do to improve the 6th and 7th inning bullpen problems? Are they looking into getting a new reliever?
That was my question to you.
Max Ramirez waiting.
That's what I ranted about.
Well, I think if I could summarize, your exclamation was, who would the fans have Freddie bring in other than the guys he has been bringing in, other than the back 2 of the bullpen? Struck him out. And all of a sudden, JJ on a nice little roll as he gets Smoke and Ramirez on strikes. And up comes Julio Bourbon, other than Clay Hensley and Leo Nunez.
Good fastball. He's picked apart the outside corner that we just missed. Remember that pitch there was called a ball when Michael Young was up there.
But it was called a strike when Ian Kinsler was up. Mm-hmm. And it looks like all of a sudden Dan Iasonia's strike zone is a little bit bigger now. Here's Bourbon. Bourbon is an interesting guy in that he was raised in Starkville, Mississippi. His dad was a professor at Mississippi State. Then he moved back to the Dominican Republic and went to high school there. Came back to the States and starred at the University of Tennessee. Was a sandwich pick in 2007. That's the supplemental round between the first and the second round. They just call them sandwich picks. And he's a top prospect. The Rangers are loaded with good young talent, and if the sale of this ball club ever goes through, The nucleus here for General Manager John Daniels is set in place. Nolan Ryan is with that group that is trying to buy the team. You get a sense that they're 2 or 3 pieces away from being really good. They're in first place right now.
And they're in the division because the American League is set up the way it is, just 4 teams. And their biggest competition, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. But right now, Texas with a 1-game lead over the Angels. Oakland's a game under 500, and Seattle's just been horrible. Oh, that's close.
It is close. 97 miles an hour.
Real quickly, to get back to that question about bullpen, we will see some of that bullpen action because of the pitch count, because it's getting up. 78 pitches now for JJ.
You see pitch number 4 on Fox Tracks. Runner on the move, Gabby. On a hop, steps on the bag. JJ avoids the error and strands Hamilton. 1-0 Rangers. Sanchez, Hanley Ramirez, and Jorge Cantu here in the 4th in a 1-0 ball game.
Yeah, that's right, Rich. The Marlins really haven't had many good swings off C.J. Wilson. The 1-base hit, the bloop by Ronnie Paulino.
Gabby walked and stole a base back in the 1st.
So they haven't put very many good swings on C.J. Wilson's pitches.
Big breaking ball misses. You talked about C.J. Wilson's year last year in relief. He made 74 appearances, picked up 14 saves. The most impressive thing about his year last year was his record at home. In Arlington last year, he was 3-0, and his ERA was 0.67. That's the lowest ERA in Texas history. Drive the left. Hamilton has room and makes the catch.
Gabby got a pitch and just got under it. It's one of those swings you think about for a little while.
Here comes Hanley. Of course, Texas history goes back to 1972. That's when Washington, then the second incarnation of the Senators, moved to Texas. So this would be, what, the 39th year of Ranger baseball? And they have been to the postseason only 3 times in that span. All American League West titles. Hanley takes outside. 96, 98, and 99. In all 3 years, they were beaten in the division series by the New York Yankees. Hanley sprays that one foul.
So 1999, the last time the Rangers were in postseason.
It's amazing. 39 years, only 3 postseasons, and as you noted, they play in a division, or at least haven't since what, 95, with only 4 teams in it.
So a better chance to get to postseason when you're dealing with 3 other teams.
Oh, no doubt. Last year, Ron Washington led them to an 87-75 record. It was their first winning season since 2004. Hanley with a count 1-2 against C.J. Wilson. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. That's in. Wilson froze, thinking maybe he had a strike 3.
Yeah, if you notice, every so often, Wilson will get 91, 92, 93 on that last fastball. And most of the time when he does that, it's a fastball in.
Hanley hit a fly ball to right.
Fastball in, change up away.
And now it's 3-2, and Cantu waits on deck. Marlins with 3 against Texas, and then the Rays are back here for 3. That's inside. Hanley walks.
Yeah, right now the Rays are in Atlanta, but it's raining in Atlanta, so there's no score.
Here comes Cantu back to our email bag. After watching an interview with your bullpen coach a couple weeks ago, and this is Bob and Tom in Jupiter, wondering what disciplinary action Major League Baseball would take if someone is caught watching streaming video of the game on their iPhone or a smartphone.
Well, the problem is, no iPhones or any electronic devices are allowed.
Right, well, that's what Bob and Tom want to know. What happens if someone gets caught?
They would be penalized, I would think. You get penalized if you're caught with binoculars in the bullpen.
Well,
Mick Billmeyer with the Phillies.
I don't think he got punished that much. I think it was a stern warning. But I think that would be, you'd probably be fined, maybe suspended a game or 2. 1-1 to Cantu. There's Reed Cornelius.
Yeah, Reed was great with us the other night.
Just reminded me we had another email, and I apologize that I don't have the emailer's name because it's way up the list. Wanting to know why coaches and managers wear watches. You saw that Cornelius had a watch on. You want to weigh in on that one? I know it's a tough one. That one fell back to the screen.
Because they can, I guess.
There you go. There you go.
You know, Reed's out there. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the amount of time coaches put in. They're out here by 1:30. Yeah, and just about all of them throw batting practice at one time or another.
And that's probably the main reason coaches wear watches, because batting practice is timed. Each group starts at a certain time, ends at a certain time. And believe me, it happens at the very moment it turns. If your group hits at 45,
believe me, the group who's waiting, they let you know.
If your group hits at 45, as soon as the clock turns 45, one group in, next group out. So that's why managers and coaches wear watches. Hanley is running, got a great jump. Ramirez throw is not in time, and Kinsler lost it anyways. Tommy, we saw Hanley Ramirez in St. Pete really turn it on, not just stealing bases, but all over the field.
Well, again, a pretty good jump, and we talked about Max Ramirez, a real slow release, and he's made a couple of poor throws to second. So you combine that, and the Marlins have a couple of stolen bases. When you only have one hit and you're trailing by a run, you try to create things, and Hanley with his 12th steal, yeah, I thought in that series in Tampa, that's the best I've seen Hanley run all year.
Cantu with a count 1-2 now. Into the bat. Bourbon comes on, makes the catch. You got to know that anything Bourbon can remotely get to, it's his with Vladdy out in right field.
Vladdy's yelling, "You got it, you got it." And Bourbon is saying, "I got you covered, big guy. You take care of the offense, I'll take care of right center."
Vladdy having to make the adjustment from the DH out to right field.
You know, in his day, of course, he played on that hard turf up in Montreal, which tore apart his knees and his back. But in his day, one of the best arms in the outfield in the National League.
Ugla. Dan takes down low. Marlins trying to get on the board against C.J. Wilson. Ugla takes down low. Dan walked to lead off the second. You can see that Wilson isn't real jazzed about giving Ugla a fastball. They're your walk leaders among Marlins. So Ugla's on pace to get back at that 90, 95 walk area. He had 92 last year. That changeup is a strike.
Yeah, 2-0 changeup, so that gives you an idea. And now, if he throws him a fastball, it's going to be in again. He's going to try to pick apart that inside corner.
Three and one.
Fastball in. And he has shown by throwing, first of all, a 2-0 changeup, the 3-1. He certainly, you know, here's a chance where you could actually look changeup. And if he throws fastball, you just take it. We'll see what Dan does. Dan doesn't like to look off speed, though. He likes to be ready for the fastball.
Changeup. Ugla's walked twice. A patient night for Ugla, and the Marlins are set up first and second in 2 outs. And here comes Cody.
Well, Wilson's only given up 1 hit, but he's walked 4 so far in this game.
Six homers for Cody. He's driven in 36, and he takes down low. 1-0. Hanley walked. Ugla walked. We had an emailer earlier asking about Cody and his patience at the plate. Ross this year has walked only 16 times. We just showed you the walk leaders for the Marlins. Cody has punched out 52 times. Dan Ugla is the Marlin leader in strikeouts at 61. So Ugla leads in walks and strikeouts. Oh, there was a cookie. The 2-0 fastball.
Tough part, you're Cody Ross, you're on deck, you're watching Wilson pitch to Dan Ugla, and you saw a 2-0 changeup.
Two one coming. Marlins have won 3 of 4. Of course, that comes off a series win in St. Pete against the Rays. Josh Johnson tonight has been extended to 79 pitches. The Marlins working on C.J. Wilson. 2-2 coming. Fastball struck him out. Down goes Ross, and the Marlins leave 2 more for frustrating innings against C.J. Wilson. Subway 5th inning, home of the $5 footlong. Play hard, eat fresh. Josh Johnson right to work. And he fires a fastball for a strike. Here in the 5th now, JJ hoping for a quick inning. Working on C.J. Wilson, the pitcher. And he gets 2 quick strikes. AT&T trivia question. Only Texas Rangers pitcher to hit a home run. I mean, you got to think maybe Nolan Ryan did it. What kind of hitter was Nolan?
Just so-so. How about Jim Bibby?
C.J. Wilson swings it pretty well. Hit that ball sharply. But he is out number 1 here in the 5th inning. Top of the order now for the Rangers. Elvis Andrus and Michael Young. If you just stop by, the Rangers and the Marlins opening up a 3-game series. The battle here between Josh Johnson, who has had quite a run for the Fish. In his last 6 starts, his ERA is 0.43, and he is 4-1. And C.J. Wilson, the guy that just grounded out, the lefty, has been pitching well for Texas. And the Marlins and the Rangers both come in fairly warm. The Rangers winning 5 of 6, the Marlins winning 3 of 4.
We talk about what JJ's done, and you look at the whole picture this year in his 13 starts. He's allowed 1 earned run or less 8 times. And we've talked about the games early in the year. He left 3 games with a 4-3 lead to get a no decision.
2-1 coming. Ooh, it's in. We have a Fox track on that one. Let's take a look.
I think JJ wanted that,
and it was in.
And it was off the plate.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Here's an email about Fox tracks. Why can't Fox put the Fox tracks on the right side of the TV and leave it up there? Fly ball right field. Stanton is there. So like on a high definition telecast, stick it on the far right and leave it up during the at bat.
Well, first, there are a couple of things. you'd have too much mumbo jumbo on the screen. You want to see the event. You want to see the game. Secondly, it would give our Fox box operator way too much to think about.
I think we may try that, though, for an inning. Maybe not tonight, but in the future, we'll give it a try. And this is exactly what the doctor ordered for Josh Johnson. A very quick inning. Have to figure out how to score against C.J. Wilson. Mike Stanton, Ronnie Paulino, and Josh Johnson due up here in the bottom of the fifth.
I think it's really interesting how pitchers can set the tone of a game. J.J. has gotten the pitch count up. He's managed to still work and give up just the one run. And C.J. Wilson has kind of set a tone. He's only given up one base hit, but he's walked four, he's nibbled, but he's quietly gone about his business.
Mike Stanton struck out in his only at bat. Pretty good curveball there. Stanton now in 20 at bats has struck out 8 times, has walked 3 times. You can see how sneaky fast C.J. Wilson is when he commands the breaking ball and the changeup. He has been able to throw the fastball by some pretty good fastball hitters. He threw one by Cody Ross in the 4th. And he runs that outside, and it's 2-2.
Now that's a couple of fastballs in a row. Not too often will he throw 3 fastballs in a row.
Let's see what Mr. Stanton gets. 2-2.
Fastball,
and he struck him out.
And I would venture to say I think that's the first time tonight he's thrown 3 fastballs in a row. But right now he's been real hard for the Marlin hitters to figure out. He's really mixed it up. Change up, fastball up. He elevated it that time, and you'll see an occasional, he threw one to Mike, an occasional curveball.
Ronnie Paulino has the only hit for the Marlins, and it was nothing to brag about. It was a little looper that fell in front of Vlad Guerrero. Ronnie goes after a changeup, and it's 0-1. John in Orlando, based on the overall play in the division so far, what would your guess be for the final standings of the National League East? So I guess John is asking, are the Atlanta Braves for real? Are the Phillies as bad as their record?
I was thinking about the Braves today, and it really is interesting the fact that they have a A game-and-a-half lead over the Mets coming into play tonight. Chipper's been in and out of the lineup. Chipper Jones is not having a great year. Yunel Escobar, the shortstop, was hitting below 200 for a long time. And Brian McCann isn't having a Brian McCann normal type year. Yet they're getting solid pitching. Troy Kloss has been on fire.
Another strikeout for C.J. Wilson. He has struck out 3 in a row now. And 5 total in the game.
So I think they'll hang in there. I think the Mets are going to continue to play well. The Mets are in a pretty good group right now. The Phillies have to, you just think they have to get better. I mean, they have really struggled. And they're losing tonight at Yankee Stadium. Roy Halladay against CC Sabathia. Yankees with 5 runs off Halladay. 5-3 the score.
Chipper Jones today acknowledging to the Associated Press that he was meeting with team officials to discuss his future and that he is considering retirement. He declined to comment directly on whether he'll retire at the end of the season. But it sounds like he's having thoughts and wants to make some sort of an announcement to that effect. He is owed, in 2011 and 2012, he is owed $28 million. So that's an interesting decision to make if you're Chipper Jones. JJ, wow, that was foul, and it was close.
This is always a good angle. Third base umpire Mark Wegner with the best view of all.
Breaking ball misses outside. Two got him. C.J. Wilson has struck out the last 4 hitters he's faced, and he cruises through 5, shutting down the fish. Texas on top. Yeah, there's the O. Let's take a look at tonight's leaders in the game presented by JM Lexus. ERA at home, Josh Johnson a 1.53. That's pretty good stuff. There's the rest of the field. And JM Lexus, Price made us #1 18 years running. Click jmlexus.com find out how.
Yeah, Josh came into this game 5-1 in his 8 previous starts here at home. In what most likely will be his last inning, he's got a tough assignment. 3, 4, and 5 hitters, some guys who have had good at bats tonight.
Check swing, no swing, Dale Scott says. Ian Kinsler. Kinsler played his college ball at Arizona State and Missouri. So I'm not sure where he stands on conference realignment. That went into center field. Is caught by Cody
Or
Ross.
the upcoming College World Series. Yeah.
That's true. In interleague baseball, Tommy, here's where we stand going into play tonight in interleague baseball. The American League has dominated interleague play of late, but the National League right now has a 2-game lead, 45-43. A couple numbers that are interesting. Look at the number of home runs that the National League, and look at the DH average. There's a pop-up that's going to be foul. The designated hitter in the American League, and that would be one of the best in the business you're looking at right now. I'm sure that Vladdy Guerrero has added to that 376 average. National League DHs aren't hitting, but National League teams are winning.
They've probably pitched a little bit better, very similar in runs.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Let's see if there's room for Gabby. And he's there, and he makes the catch. Craig Minervini, your thoughts on what we've seen in interleague play so far?
It's nice to see the NL winning despite some of those numbers, because it looks like if you just look at the numbers, the AL will be winning, but they have out-homered them, and that's a change. Historically, the American League has won over 1,700 games, 52%. When Tommy played, it was almost NL dominated, not obviously interleague, but anytime they met in all-star games, the NL seemed to have a great run. But lately, it's been just the reverse. Interleague games, which is more telling because, of course, these are real games. They mean something when you look at all the numbers. And then the fact that now you have the World Series home team with home field advantage determined by what happens in the All-Star game. So it's interesting to see the numbers. Also, the pitchers' numbers, not as big a factor. Remember when we talked to the Yale guys? They all felt that the NL has the advantage here. But I'm not sure where you guys were. I always thought the AL, because they have DHs, guys who are paid big money to do that job, and it seems like it gives them an edge. Maybe in the AL park as opposed to here in the NL park, where there seems to be an advantage for the NL team.
3-0 is the count to Josh Hamilton. Look, one thing that I haven't heard yet, but I've seen a variety of articles, and some of the best people have weighed in on this in baseball, from Verducci to Olney to take your pick of great baseball writers. And
Krasnick, Stark.
That's the fact that the offensive numbers are down. The year of the pitcher is what. But I do know that young pitchers, there's more of them in the National League. Good young pitchers, more of them in the National League.
So I think it makes for some nice drama for the All-Star game this year, to see if the National League can get back on track.
All-Star game in Anaheim. Little roller up the line. JJ will pick it up. That's a 10-pitch inning for Josh Johnson. So only 21 pitches his last 2 innings. We'll see if they can stretch him to the 7th. 1-0, Texas. only Ranger pitcher to hit a home run. Tommy went Jim Bibby on us. I went with Nolan Ryan because of the name and the notoriety. And it ends up being Bobby Witt.
Bobby Witt. Good right-hander. Had a nice career.
Off of Ishmael Valdez. I'll tell you what, for a guy that's a converted reliever, C.J. Wilson looks very nice as a starter. Chris Coughlin twice has bounced to second. And he runs up to bunt. And it's ball one. We told you that from the outset, Wilson is one of the nastiest against lefties. Left-handed hitters hitting 114 coming in.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why that's interesting. You would think that he would be maybe more down three-quarters, maybe have that nasty slider, but he doesn't. His best pitch is his changeup. We've seen a few curveballs. So it doesn't go along with a normal left-hander that would really be tough on left-handed hitters.
Roller towards first, and it's foul. We have, there's our first Matt Trainer sighting. Probably see Matty, if not tomorrow night, on Thursday night.
He's actually caught more games than anybody. 36 starts for Trainer.
1-2 coming. Coughlin line drive left field. Boy, he stung it, and it almost eluded Josh Hamilton. A good AB ends up in an out. And here comes Gabby Sanchez, who has walked and flied out. Email from Juan in Costa Rica. Did you know you can get MLB.TV even in Costa Rica? As he watches the game, here's his question. Since the Marlins played the Rays so tough and the Rays seem to be struggling a bit, who do you feel is the toughest team in the majors to beat this season? Who's the best team in the majors? I guess we can interpret that two ways. Who's the toughest team to beat right now? Who's the best team in the big leagues?
Well, you know, Juan is obviously having a great time in Costa Rica, but we appreciate the fact that he's watching Marlins Rangers tonight. I think we all came away from that series against the Tampa Bay Rays with a lot of respect in really looking at that ball club and understanding why they are in first place. Tied with the Yankees coming into play, and the Yankees are playing great baseball too.
You didn't answer Juan's question, though. Who do you think's the toughest team to beat right now?
Right now, it's the Texas Rangers, the toughest team to beat. The score's 1-0. They're leading.
Nicely done. I think it depends on where you're playing these teams. I mean, the Rays are so good on the road. They're 22-8 on the road. The Yankees so good at home. They're 22-7 at home. You would want to see the Yankees and the Rays meet in a neutral site. Maybe they could play a series in Boston against each other.
Well, let's hope Juan just sits back and has one of those little drinks with the funny-looking umbrella in it. Go for the good stuff, though, Juan. Don't go for the house stuff.
See, I'm more comfortable with you talking about that than wine selection. Here's the 3-1, and it's foul back and out of play. Full count. Gabby Sanchez with Hanley Ramirez on deck.
You know, to go back to Chris Coughlin's swing, probably the best swing against C.J. Wilson tonight. The hardest hit ball, that line drive to left field. Gabby just got under one last time up, the fourth inning.
3-2. Gabby goes after that one and just dribbles it foul. Gary in Boynton Beach wants to know, are you guys in favor of realignment of divisions? Heard a proposal where the Marlins, Rays, Orioles, Nationals, and Blue Jays would be in the National League East. Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, Mets, and Braves in the new American League East. Would that proposal make any sense? I think that's along the line some people have lobbed an idea, much like professional soccer over in Europe. Gabby has walked, and up comes Hanley. Where teams are first division, second division, and you make the schedule that way.
I don't go for that. I think as the years go by, there will be teams that are down now that will be up, and vice versa. I think it all works out. I think, and I mentioned it the other night, I loved, and I say loved, interleague play when it came in. I think I'm okay with going back without having interleague play because I think that would allow you to play more teams evenly in your league instead of playing teams like the Cardinals 5 times or teams in the West just 6 times. You should be playing those teams because they're in your league. You should be playing them more. But the only way to do that is to eliminate interleague play.
Well, interleague play brings up a whole bunch of scheduling issues, that's for sure. Hanley up right now. Hanley has flied out and has walked. That's the interesting thing about the line for C.J. Wilson here. If you just look at the score, you think this lefty is dominant and striking guys out and has impeccable control. But the Marlins have had base runners throughout the night and just haven't been able to cash in. Hanley loops it down the right field line, and it's foul. I mean, Wilson's line now, he's walked 5.
Yeah, it's a career high.
And struck out 6. But only 1 hit, and that was the bloop hit by Paulino in the 3rd. Yeah, there are all kinds of oddities. The Marlins play the Padres 9 times this year, twice here, and then once in San Diego.
So a team in the National League West, they play 9 times.
They play the Cardinals just 5 times. They play everybody in the East, 18 times.
Play the Rays 6
times. They play the Milwaukee Brewers 8 times. Hanley gets into that one, center field and deep. Back goes Bourbeau, looking and gone! 2-run shot! Hanley Ramirez.
Sooner or later, when you walk as many as C.J. Wilson has, sooner or later you have to pay the price. And just like that, with one swing, the Marlins take the lead. We saw swings like that from Hanley in St. Pete against the Tampa Bay Rays. Straightaway center field. Anytime you go straightaway center in this ballpark, you know you've hit it well. Number 10 on the year for Hanley.
Boy, no doubter to center field. Here's Cantu now. It's 2-1. And he sends a high fly ball to left. Hamilton is there and makes the catch. You could just sense, I mean, we talked to it, and there was a good article, and I apologize that I don't, you read 4 or 5 papers in the morning, and I don't remember which paper had it, but there was a good article talking about Hanley with runners in scoring position, and he talked about the fact that he's starting to barrel the ball up, and he even showed the mark on his bat where he'd hit some balls in that series against the Rays, and he told the reporter, it's starting to come. I'm starting to hit the ball where I'm supposed to.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that in Tampa. We saw it firsthand.
Uggla takes outside. It's 2-0. Daniel has walked twice. Wilson has wanted nothing to do with Uggla tonight. I mean, he has stayed away with soft stuff. Every now and then he'll buzz him inside and then resume the onslaught of changeups. Fouled at the plate.
Right-hander Dustin Nipper getting loose down in that Rangers bullpen.
Ugla takes outside. Becky from Miami wanted to know what the criteria is going to be for the new ballpark to have the roof closed. I can tell you on a night like this, that thing will be shut and the AC will be blowing full.
You come down, be comfortable, sit and relax. Game time will be right on time.
Ugla's walked 3 times. Then we'll put our crack staff on it. That means everybody in Gainesville will take a shot. We'll put our crack staff on it to see if that is a career high for Ugla. Last time we had David Sampson on, we asked him that question, Becky, and it's a combination of weather, rain, or temperature.
I would guess, and I think I've heard this from David Sampson and others, Claude Delorme. You're looking at 75-80% of the time it's going to be closed.
I don't think you'd get any argument from players. There were a lot of Marlin players that remarked in St. Pete how nice it was to be indoors, because as hot as it was today here in South Florida, just as hot in St. Pete over the weekend.
And we've talked about players getting their work in before the game. It's easier to do in the comfort inside as opposed to coming out here 90-plus degrees, humidity, trying to get that extra work and then go back in and relax and prepare yourself for the game.
I think Ross may have caught Ramirez with his backswing. Cody has had trouble with C.J. Wilson. He's 0 for 2. He's bounced into a double play and struck out. Ugla's career high in walks in a game is 4.
Keep in mind now, we've seen Gabby Sanchez with a stolen base, Hanley Ramirez with a stolen base.
Pitch is down in the dirt. We have another mail that's actually real mail, and it's from Rose, who is 81 and has been battling lung cancer and cannot get out to a Marlins game, but watches every game and says thank you for keeping her up. And she says her favorite player is Cody Ross.
Cody's a lot of people's favorite players. Rose, keep your spirits up. Thanks for the letter. And maybe Cody can get you one right here.
That's 1 and 2. Cody lines it foul. I'll tell you what, Tommy, Rose may be 81 and she may be struggling with her health, but she has some of the best handwriting we've seen.
That is tremendous. Legible handwriting. Terrific.
On the stationery,
and I love the stationery
that has a rose on it. Ugla's at first. Marlins have a 2-1 lead. A Hanley homer. His 10th of the season. There goes Ugla. Pitch is high, and the Marlins have another stolen base.
I mentioned that after watching Ramirez throw and C.J. Wilson deliver when Gabby picked up his stolen base in the first inning. And it has come true. The Marlins have taken advantage of that combo and stolen 3 bases tonight.
39 stolen bases for the Marlins on the season. Cody fouls it back. Stolen base leaders in the National League. The New York Mets, 64.
Well, they've gotten healthier, a little younger, and a little faster.
Team with the least amount of stolen bases, no surprise, the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned the Giants because I noticed he hit a home run the other day. The Giants have picked up Pat Burrell. Pat Burrell in that lineup with San Francisco. They beat Baltimore 10-2 last night. Burrell went 2 for 3 with a home run.
Giants have their own version of Mike Stanton up now. Buster Posey, the Florida State product. He's had a good start to his major league career. Another 2-2 coming to Cody.
Just thinking about it, it's an interesting lineup now. You have some veteran guys like Burrell, Aaron Rowan, Aubrey Huff, and then you have Buster Posey, you have Edgar Renteria in there.
Did you see the 2 home runs that Aubrey Huff hit the other night to the deepest part of that ballpark, which is really hard to do for a left-handed hitter. All right, full count. Cody has worked the count full. Wilson at 110 pitches right now. Got a changeup. Sends it to right. Guerrero makes the catch. The Marlins will settle for 2. Their first 2. Second hit of the night goes about 425 feet. Seventh inning rolls around. Josh Johnson is still out there. JJ at 100 pitches. And he misses outside to Max Ramirez. He's got the bottom third of the order. Ramirez, Bourbon, and the number 9 spot. Check swing, Tapper, and it's foul. So this, Tommy, is the perfect spot for JJ to try to get through the 7th.
That's a good point. I think, and it's something we could ask Freddie tomorrow. I think if you were in a part of the order, let's say those middle 3 hitters, or even starting with the number 2 guy, Michael Young, starting this inning, I think we would have seen bullpen in action. But JJ has settled in, and you think about it, he gave up the 3 hits in the first inning. He gave up an infield base hit in the 3rd. So the last hit the Rangers got was that infield base hit in the 3rd inning. And the 3 hits in the first inning were all singles.
Two. Missed down low. Ramirez has struck out twice. Got him. Still throwing 96.
Boy, and this is what a big stud does when he's the ace of your pitching staff.
Not too late to become a Marlins season ticket holder this season. Enjoy the best savings and benefits in Major League Baseball. Choose from a variety of plans starting at just $85. Seat selection. The new Marlins ballpark is underway for current season ticket holders. 1-877-MARLINS, the number to call today.
Had a great piece on Marlins Live about the sales center where you can see what the actual suite will look like. Saw a change up there, and I think the last 2 or 3 innings we've seen better change-ups from JJ than we saw earlier in the game.
Ugla fires to first, and so JJ gets 2 quick outs. Now let's see who the Rangers run up there in the 9 spot. This is a reality, although the pitch count with Wilson, he's at 111, and so he was probably due to come out anyways.
He was coming out. Joaquin Arias is going to be the pinch hitter. And because of the designated hitter, when you look at American League rosters, you don't see guys with 15, 20 pinch hit appearances. The most pinch hit appearances for anybody with the Rangers is Murphy with 9. Arias has only come to the plate as a pinch hitter 3 times.
You don't see guys who are as versatile in the American League. There's Chris Ray in the Texas bullpen, unless, as we talked about, you look at Tampa Bay's roster or maybe Anaheim's roster.
What a nice inning.
Josh Johnson, nicely done. 11 pitches in the 7th. Everybody up. 7th inning stretch. 2-1 pitch.
How about CJ? CJ Wilson going up the ladder, changing speeds, but in the 6th inning, with a man on because of a walk, he walked 6. He gave up Hanley's 10th home run of the year, straightaway shot to center field. The Marlins have given JJ a 2-1 lead.
He went 11 pitches in the 5th, 10 pitches in the 6th, and 11 in the 7th. That's good stuff. And so we get our first look at Chris Ray, who takes over for Wilson and gets the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, he's going to feature mostly fastballs and sliders, and he'll mix in a few splitters. And pretty good opposing batting average. Hitters are only hitting .202 against Chris Ray. There's a slider.
Mike Stanton, happy to see C.J. Wilson gone. He struck out twice against him. Right back to him. And there's one out here in the 7th. Ronnie Polino in the pitcher spot coming up. Polino singled in 3rd, and he was a strikeout victim as well. Brian Sanchez is up, and that tells us one thing that we suspected. Talking to Freddie before the ball game, Clay Hensley's neck is still sore. Remember, he was off limits on Sunday in St. Pete.
Yeah, it's on not on his pitching right side, it's on that left side.
And there's Hensley down in the bullpen. He's been the 8th inning guy for the Marlins.
Well, you know he's frustrated too.
So it looks like Hensley is unavailable tonight as well. Ooh, pretty good pitch. Little swing.
Some of the Marlins have seen a little bit of Chris Ray in his time with Baltimore.
It's where the Marlins are headed after this. Not after tonight, but after this homestand.
Beautiful Camden Yards.
The Baltimore Orioles are suffering through an awful season right now. And maybe they'll have a manager, a full-time manager. Juan Samuel's the interim guy. And from what I understand, he's also still coaching 3rd base as the manager.
Easier to give signs.
It's a direct line of communication.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about a middleman.
Baltimore, with their loss to the Giants last night, 17-47, and just 6-26 on the road. Polino walks. And here comes, as a pinch hitter, Emilio Bonifacio. This is an area where the Marlins are real thin right now, and that's on their bench. And in particular, left-handed bat off the bench.
Yeah, Bonifacio, we know, a switch hitter. Certainly not the power you'd like to have from a left-handed bat coming off the bench. But we'll see if he can create something here.
Yeah, that's what you'd like to see. Want to know? It's one of the things the Marlins have hoped that Bonifacio could improve on, his bunting. Not necessarily sacrifice bunting. Well, come to think of it, he didn't do that well sacrificing last year. But bunting for base hits. There were times last year where he looked more comfortable bunting for a base hit than he did in a spot where he was called upon to sacrifice.
You would have liked to have seen his numbers when he went down improve in a couple of areas. They did somewhat, but not maybe as drastically as you'd like. You'd like to see the on-base percentage go up a little bit. You'd like to see the strikeouts and walks ratio change a little bit.
Jim Presley.
Good swing there at a pretty good fastball from Chris Ray.
We had an email tonight.
Oh, I said good swing, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a hard habit to break.
Jeff in Delray Beach is taking a shot now, just like the guys up in Gainesville.
I think Juan in Costa Rica maybe too.
You know, by the way, Jeff also, it was a two-part question. He feels that the Marlin hitters strike out way too much, and his solution is to replace Jim Presley with Tommy Hutton.
And then there would be no power at all.
That's His reasoning was you struck out at a much less frequent rate than Press did in his big league
Press
career.
was a power hitter. He had a lot more home runs. That's the nature of the game. You get that power hitter who doesn't strike out much. They're far and few between. Vladimir Guerrero, we talked about earlier, is one of them.
Albert Pujols,
another. He's never struck out 100 times.
But you can count those guys on one or two hands. Swing and a miss. Down goes Bonifacio. And here comes Chris Coghlan.
You're talking about those Orioles. The Orioles are in San Francisco tonight for a little interleague action. About the Blue Jays in San Diego last night had a little earthquake they had to deal with. Nothing serious.
John Garland felt the earthquake affected the strike zone, apparently. He was not happy with the umpiring last night. But
the Blue Jays won that game 6-3.
Yeah, and Garland took the loss for the Padres. Blue Jays have hit, 101 home runs this year?
They're incredible. John Buck, their big catcher, hit 2 last night.
Yeah, 101 home runs. That leads the American League. The Rangers themselves have hit 62. They're tied for 6th. And I hope that angry emailer doesn't want me to list 1 through 6. So,
talking to somebody in Tampa about the Blue Jays, they had just seen Toronto, and they said, "What an aggressive lineup! They did go up there and hack and have aggressive swings all the time."
Coghlan to center field. Back goes Bourbon, and he reaches up and makes the catch. Chris has lined out twice tonight. Marlins strand that runner. 8th inning, looks like it's Brian Sanchez. This is a Dan Uggla swipe tag. Photographic proof says no. Elvis Andrus stole the base. Our Frostbrewed Coors Light freeze cam
has some great camera angles. Here's how Freddie Gonzalez approaches this inning as he gets Brian Sanchez out there to start. He's got 4 right-handed batters to start things. The best case scenario, you'd love to see a 1-2-3 inning. If it gets down to Josh Hamilton, then you have a switch hitter, Justin Smoke, after him. You'll get Tankersley in there. Tank was warmed up last inning. It's not going to take him too long to get ready. But you do whatever you can to get through this 8th inning and set it up for Leo Nunez in the 9th.
Andrus, Michael Young, and Ian Kinsler. We've had a few emails tonight in reference to your bullpen comments on the road trip, wanting to know if Nunez is capable of coming in the 8th and pitching the 9th.
No, he's not. And it's something that you and I have discussed with Freddie Gonzalez. He's not a big guy. He's a max effort pitcher. If you can just picture that delivery with the changeup and fastballs. And right now he's really leery to bring him in an 8th inning to get 6 outs even.
He's not Brian Wilson, but he does have a tendency to have high pitch counts.
Yes, that's another part of it.
In the innings in which he gets a save. It seems like every time Brian Wilson saves a game for the Giants, it's in the upper 20s or low 30s in the 9th inning. But he gets the saves. That's the amazing thing about the Giants closer, is no matter how many guys he puts on base, he always seems to get that save.
Tied for 2nd in the league with 17. Tied with Heath Bell, Francisco Cordero, and Matt Capps leads the league with 20.
Oh, see, now we're there.
Now we're getting it. You know what? It took 64 games.
And one angry email. Here's the 2-2. That one into the seats. And it stays 2-2.
Rangers bullpen busy. Alexi Ogando.
Fastball up and in. This is obviously the guy you want to get because you put Andrus on and he can steal second base pretty easily.
They picked up his 19th stolen base back in the 3rd inning. Tough hitter on deck in Michael Young.
It doesn't get easier after that with Kinsler and Guerrero. Lost him.
Keep in mind, too, the Rangers are missing another potent bat. He's on the disabled list, Nelson Cruz, outfielder.
Number 10, third baseman Michael Young.
Good hit-run combo, good stolen base situation, so all kinds of things that Ron Washington can put on with Young the hitter and Andrus the runner.
Andrus leaning, and Sanchez chases him back. Andrus stole 39 bases last year in his rookie season. Young last year hit .322. Since 2003, Michael Young is 2nd in all of baseball in hits.
And who would be first?
Ichiro. Pretty tough to catch Ichiro when he's getting 220 a year.
Well, you talk about 200 hit seasons. Michael Young has had 5 200 hit seasons.
University of California, Santa Barbara. He's 0 for 3, struck out twice, bounced out. Young, a soft fly ball to right field. Stanton on the move. And it lands foul. Good mobility out in right field. That's another thing in the week that he's played in the big leagues that scouts have remarked. He moves a lot better than they thought he would.
I love what Dave Collins, I think it was Dave Collins, he said in seeing Mike Stanton and working with him in spring training at that time, a below average outfielder. He said all of a sudden he's seen remarkable improvement with his time in Double-A and now here. He said he has a chance someday, could win a Gold Glove. You never know.
He says now he is a good outfielder. Now would be a good time to get a ground ball if you're Brian Sanchez. Stan's going to give it another go. Taylor Tankersley, our Haynes comfort zone. Of course, you got Josh Hamilton later on in this inning, and you would expect that's why Tank is up.
He'll be ready for the left hand.
Yes, he went. Big strikeout for Brian Sanchez.
That's a nice one. I'm not sure if it was the slider or the splitter, but it had some good downward movement, and it got Young to commit. Good pitch to get a tough hitter. You know, you talked about Taylor Tankersley, Rich, with the matchup, and Josh Hamilton. Raniel Pinto has been activated. Rick Vandenherk was sent down. But Freddie told you that Pinto's use will be a little different. It won't be matching up with lefties because he struggled so much in getting left-handers.
I think Pinto's role, as Freddie described it, will be more of the long man. And that's why Rick Vandenherk was sent down, because that was Vandy's role. That's the role that Clay Hensley held at one point this year, that Burt Badenhop held at one point this year. Hensley, of course, pitched so well that he worked himself into the eighth inning guy. Andrus was leaning, and he almost got caught.
Closer than I think Andrews wanted it. And also first base coach. Hey, the first base coach, pretty good speed in his day, and a terrific outfielder, Gary Pettis.
Gary Pettis, 5 Gold Gloves. Stole over 350 bases. Kinsler waiting. Jorge Sosa joins Tank.
Like I said, this is an inning. Freddie might have to go to 3 different pitchers to preserve the 1-run lead.
Drive to left. Coughlin back. Track. Wall makes the catch. Wow. Ian Kinsler, the throw on a relay, trying to get Andrus at first, is wild. The Coughlin up against the wall. Kinsler just missed.
Tell you what, that ball carried further than I thought. I thought he got under it by a lot, and it tracked Chris Coughlin all the way against that wall. Kinsler wasn't quite sure. He's never hit a ball like that here in this ballpark. But good concentration by Cogs, and a big second out.
All right, the third out is even bigger, and as you described back in the first, there really is no scouting report in how you pitch Vladimir Guerrero.
I think the best effort we saw was his second time up. And we talked about Josh Johnson pounding him inside with a couple of good fastballs. Look at that, 7th inning or later. However, in order to do that, you have to have Josh Johnson's fastball and have that kind of velocity.
And Brian Sanchez doesn't have that.
No.
You can get Vladimir Guerrero to chase pitches. The problem is he hits those pitches and hits them hard and far. Sometimes he hits them out of the park. Fastball, fly ball, right field deep. Stanton to the track. Makes the catch. Brian Sanchez works a scoreless 8-2-1 Marlins.
Alexi Ogando. Some pitchers, you know, we talk about have that long, whippy type motion. He's more of a short arm guy.
He is
got good stuff, but he can also get wild. Good fastball, slider.
Gabby Sanchez takes a fastball, and it's outside. Ogando finally getting to the big leagues. He had been banned from the United States. Could not get a visa to play for the last 5 years. He was involved in a Dominican Republic-based human trafficking ring with sham weddings back in December of 2005. And so he has not been allowed in the United States. He finally was cleared this year, and he makes his big league debut this year. Has appeared in AA and AAA this year. Had to pitch down in the Dominican, and he walks Sanchez. Time now for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. This is it. These are the 2 runs the Marlins have on a 2-run homer by Hanley Ramirez. Hanley's 1 for 2, a walk, a stolen base, that 2-run homer. And he'll face Alexi Ogando, who is from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic, that used to be known as the island of shortstops. But that country obviously has produced some of the great players in the game, including the one you're looking at. Ogando was an outfielder in Oakland's organization. Rangers took him in the Rule 5 and made him into a pitcher.
So many times you see other position players that find they can't hit but have tremendous arms, and it takes a young instructor, minor league instructor, maybe a scout, to say, you know what, let's see if we can get this guy on the mound.
Hanley goes after the fastball, 1-2.
What a great job, by the way, from Brian Sanchez. Not only getting the 3 outs and keeping it a 2-1 game, but I thought he did a really good job in holding Elvis Andrus at first base and not allowing him to steal. And remember, he walked in to lead the inning off.
Another run here would be enormous. Give an extra run for Leo Nunez, who's getting ready for the top of the 9th. Nunez will have Josh Hamilton, Justin Smoke, and Max Ramirez scheduled.
Leo going through his routine. What a nice performance, too. And by the way, Josh Johnson lowered his earned run average from 1.91 to 1.86. A lot of pitches early. Struggled a little bit in that first inning, but that was it. And then settled down and had some real nice innings.
4 hits and a run. The Marlins have just 2 hits in this ballgame. Of course, one of those was the Hanley homer. That was 99 on the gun.
Yeah, 2 hits, one over 400 feet, one the blue single by Ronnie Paulino.
You can see why the Rangers waited on this guy to finally get his visa in order. And that 5-year absence from the United States. Breaking ball, Hanley pulls it into left field for a base hit. 2 for 3 is Hanley. Now you got Cantu and then Ugla.
And certainly now an opportunity to try to add on. Get some insurance, add on, make it just a tad easier for Leo Nunez in that 9th inning. Here comes Mike Maddox, the Rangers pitching coach.
Out to talk to Ogando. Marlins are going to pinch run for Gabby Sanchez. Brian Barton is in.
And what Freddie will do, he'll leave Brian in the game. He'll go over to play third in the bottom half of the inning. Jorge Cantu will go over and play first base.
Great speed out there. You got Barton at second. The trail runner is Hanley. Cantu 0 for 3. And you got guys here in Cantu, Ugla, Ross, who can all hit an upper 90s fastball a long ways.
As they say, they can turn that cheese around.
Pretty good chance he's going to get one here, 2-0.
Yeah, it's not like C.J. Wilson when he'd give you a 2-0 changeup or anything like that. This guy's bread and butter, his best pitch is his fastball. That's what Jorge is going to see.
There's Hanley at first, Barton out at second. There's the fastball, and he fouls it off. Bottom 8. Marlins up a run. That pitch was in on him. Count now 2-2. Ugla next.
Back at it tomorrow night. Anibal Sanchez against the Texas right-hander Tommy Hunter. Of course, some good pitching matchups in that Tampa series on the weekend.
Cantu floats one foul.
Marlins are going to see Matt Garza, Jeff Neiman, and the talented young left-hander David Price.
So that means it'll be a David Price, Josh Johnson game on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Cantu pops it up. Infield fly rule in effect. And so Ogando shows that he has a quality fastball. It gets Cantu out. And here comes Ugla.
David Price and the Tampa Bay Rays finally getting underway in Atlanta with a long rain delay. They have a 4-0 lead early.
Ugla pulls in, having walked 3 times tonight. And Ogando has read the scouting report. He bends one to Ugla. It's 0-1.
That was one where I'm sure he was told, just get it over. Get me over slider. Because Dan Ugla will not be looking for it.
Ball and a strike. There's Nunez getting ready for the 9th.
He's going to have Josh Hamilton, Justin Smoke, the switch hitter, and catcher Max Ramirez. Or a pinch hitter.
Breaking ball, pulls it in the hole, it's short. Andrus got one there. The turn, not in time. And a diving stop by Smoke kept Barden at third. That's going to give Cody Ross a shot at driving in a run.
Good job by Smoke at first base. And that's what you have to think about if you're a first baseman. Think a little bit about getting 2, but once you realize you're not going to get the double play, good hard slide too by Hanley. Once you know you're not going to get that double play, you got to get the ball because you know there's a runner going to third base.
Well, let's see if Ogando will challenge Cody with a fastball.
Remember that first pitch to Dan Ugla. Give me over slider.
Similar hitters, you think similar pitch, first pitch? Nope.
Yeah, he went with the heat, saying you're a hitter, you're on deck, you're seeing him pitch to Dan Ugla, you're thinking a lot about that, and what does he do? He throws you a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
.98.
Now you jump up to 98.
Barden and Ugla.
We talked about Ogando losing a little control command. You got to be alive for a wild pitch too, if he tries to snap off a good slider.
That was an awkward third to first attempt. If they gave box on style points, they probably would give him one.
Low marks on that one.
Now, Cody's seen nothing but heat.
Teams do occasionally get Cody to chase a high fastball out of the strike zone. mainly with 2 strikes.
Four fastballs, 2 for strikes, with 2 outs here in the 8th. There's the breaking ball, ground ball. Andrus gets the out just in time. And the Marlins lead 2. Leo Nunez comes in to save it in the 9th. Leo Nunez, the 9th inning beckons. So does Josh Hamilton, who is 1 for 2.
Okay, we'll talk about scouting reports, and as the Marlins have made those changes we expected. Brian Barton's at third. Jorge Cantu moves over to first. Remember the other night with Leo Nunez, was it Ryan Howard? He threw 6 consecutive changeups. So if you're Josh Hamilton and you're reading some scouting reports, and what does he see? 2 straight changeups from Leo Nunez.
Leo's numbers, 13 of 15 in save opportunities. He didn't get a lot of work on the road trip. Did save Sunday's game.
Nice job this year by Leo in his walks to strikeouts. 27 strikeouts to 5 walks.
Hamilton extended his hitting streak to 11 games. Raleigh, North Carolina native. Ground ball, right field, base hit. And the tying run is aboard.
Now it looked like he got another changeup, third in a row. And I think that's where, I know sometimes it's successful, but sometimes you have to show a hitter something else, because a changeup is effective because it's changing off something. If you're seeing everything the same speed, all of a sudden you get a little more used to it.
We've got a switch hitter now in Justin Smoke, who was 0 for 3. Hamilton, not a real threat. He's got 3 stolen bases. going, and Ronnie never got the handle. Hamilton swipes it, and the Rangers tying run is in scoring position. The count is 2-0 to Smoke.
Don't know if he would have thrown him out. Look at the jump that Hamilton gets. Very good. Stole it off Leo Nunez with the leg kick, and even though Ronnie couldn't get a good grip on it, I don't think he would have thrown him out.
And you're right, he stole it off of Nunez. And so now, to get the save, Nunez is going to have to get 3 outs and keep Hamilton out there in scoring position. Change up, popped up. Barden comes down and makes the catch.
That's big because remaining at second is Hamilton on that pop foul out.
David Murphy, another left-handed bat, is coming off the Texas bench.
We might see him in the outfield tomorrow night.
Murphy, a former first-round pick of the Boston Red Sox, was traded to Texas in the Eric Gagne trade. Had a decent year last year. 17 homers, 57 driven in.
15 home runs the year before.
All-American at Baylor University. Ground ball, Cantu almost ate him up. Nunez is there, gets the out.
Well, what a nice play. That ball had some severe topspin, chasing Hamilton over to third, but Jorge Cantu with a terrific play to stay with it and make the play. Watch his ball. Just got on him in a hurry. And Georgie stays with it and made the out.
Actually ended up barehanding the ball after it bounced off his stomach. You know, job one there was just keep it on the infield. Now it comes down to Nunez against young Julio Bourbon. The 24-year-old out of Starkville, Mississippi. It's 1-0. Two outs, ninth inning, tying run 90 feet away. Nunez against Bourbon. He continues to feed left-handed hitters changeups. It worked with Smoke. He popped it up. Ramirez bounced out. But it didn't work with Hamilton, who punched one into right field. He's at third now with 2 down. Changeup. It's outside.
And look who stepped into the on-deck circle. Matt Trainer.
Fastball strike. I'm with you on that. You got to show that pitch.
You got to give a hitter a different look with velocity.
Because Nunez has a plus fastball.
Yes, he does.
It's not like it's an average
He got
hitter.
hurt with the fastball a lot last year. And he has a better changeup, I think, this year.
Let's see what he gives. 3-1.
Changeup.
And he missed, and here comes Trainer. Well, this is an interesting spot for Matt Trainer to make his homecoming back in South Florida. And that's with the game on the line, runners at the corners. Trainer, who was in the Marlins organization for so long, finally got to the big leagues in 2004. And, of course, was a Marlin up until last year. Was with Detroit last year, only for a few games. He underwent a couple of surgeries. He had hip surgery. That was the big one. to repair the labrum in the hip. 139 games in this ballpark.
5 home runs this year. Prior to this year, 8 career home runs. Got a chance to play a little bit. And remember, occasionally we would see him drop down a bunt.
Drives it to left center. That ball is deep. Ross after it. It's off the wall. And it caroms out to center field. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. And Matt Trainer comes back to South Florida to haunt his old team. He got a first pitch fastball and he jumped all over it.
Leo Nunez will use that changeup a little more to left-handers. Of course, Matt knows a little bit about Nunez. Got the fastball. And we talked about more power this year with 5 home runs. He put a charge into that fastball off the wall and took a crazy hop. And all of a sudden, the Rangers with a 1-run lead.
Ground ball, Ugla to his left. Has it to first. It's 3-2 Texas. And now the Marlins need a run to keep playing. Matt Trainer, the former Fish, a 2-run triple.
Fastball was there, was middle of the plate, it was up, and it was very, very hittable. And you give credit to Matt Trainer for being aggressive and jumping on it. He stays in the game, Trainer does, behind the plate.
That's also going to shuffle the outfield for the Rangers, as they're going to lift Vladimir Guerrero out of the game. Craig Gentry is in right field. Mike Stanton meets Neftali Feliz in his 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, we talked about this guy earlier. 15 saves, terrific fastball, uses a curve and a changeup.
And Stanton swings and misses. It's 0-2. Mike is 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of strikeouts. Feliz came over in what has turned out to be a very good trade for the Texas Rangers. They knew they weren't going to re-sign Mark Teixeira. They sent him to Atlanta for Elvis Andrus, Jared Saltalamacchia, and they get a top-flight closer. At least he appears to be. He's still young. He's just 22. And a breaking ball. Stanton goes down.
Boy, it's a real shame for Josh Johnson. JJ came into the game with a record of 7-2. Lowered his ERA ERA tonight to 186, giving up just the 1 run. It's the 4th time this year he's left the game with a 1-run lead and gotten a no decision. 3 times a 4-3 score, and tonight a 2-1 score.
So 4 blown saves at JJ's expense.
So very easy could have 10 wins, at least 10, and maybe more.
You see that power fastball that Felice has. Ball and a strike. Rangers have come back. We told you a hot team coming in. Ooh. Polito didn't like the call. There's Helms on deck. It was a strike. Two and two. C.J. Wilson, Josh Johnson were the starters. J.J. was headed for the win. That's outside. If Felice saves it, Alexei Ogando would qualify for the win.
And it would be his first major league win. But the Marlins still have a little something to say about that.
Three-two. Little tapper over the mound. Andrus. And the Fish are down to their last out. It's Wes Helms.
Well, this is where, and I don't know if it'll translate into a hit, but this is where I think those at-bats and the opportunity to play against the Rays for those 3 games is going to help Wes down the road. He had some good games. He hit 2 home runs in that series against Tampa Bay.
One and 0. Chris Coughlin is on deck. .97. You can see that the ceiling on this kid is quite high. Now he's out in front, 1 and 2. This was on Sunday. Helms got buzzed and then knocked one out. No buzzing here tonight. Behind in the count, 1 and 2 is Helms. And having trouble catching up to this kid's fastball.
Well, you have to protect the plate. You have to be aware of all the pitches. Ahead in the count, you could cheat a little bit, maybe get yourself going for the fastball, but now you can't.
Missed with the breaking ball. 2 and 2. We haven't seen him throw the breaking ball for a strike He did get Stanton to swing at it, but it was well out of the zone. Fastball, ground ball. Andrus. And this ball game belongs to the Rangers. The Marlins had it, but it slipped away. Matt Traynor comes home his first time against his former team, and he hurts him. The only pitch he sees, he bangs off the wall in left center field for a 2-run triple. And that ruins the night for Josh Johnson. A blown save for Leo Nunez. And the Texas Rangers continue to stay hot. They have won 6